was a greased, naked woman on all fours with a dog collar around her neck and a leash. And pushing a black glove in her face to sniff it. You don't find that offensive?
No,
you don't find that sexist?
Well, you should have
Listen
seen
to
the
me.
cover they wanted to do.
Hey guys, I'm Kevin.
I'm Jake.
And this is Movie Matters. Today we're talking about the 1984 comedy, This Is Spinal Tap. Rob Reiner directed, great cast, Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, Harry Shearer. This is my first time seeing this movie. I thought it was pretty funny. I like those actors. They do a lot of other really funny movies, especially Christopher
Best in
Guest.
Show.
Yeah, exactly. Best in Show, For Your Consideration. They do a whole bunch of funny movies, and they wrote this movie. And yeah, I liked it. I didn't love it. I thought there was a lot of funny parts in it, and you can tell it's mainly improvised, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And Jake, I think you've said you've seen this before, right?
Yeah, I've seen this one or two times before. I saw it in middle school or early high school. I think it's hilarious. It's a pretty solid comedy. Definitely a very solid mockumentary.
Yes.
And they do the documentary style incredibly well in this movie. So they sell it really well.
And I think that's why I didn't love it necessarily. I mean, I liked it. The mockumentary is great, but it's there's not necessarily a movie plot.
Right.
I mean, there kind of is, but and I feel like that's my hurdle to get over. That's a personal hurdle. Because I was maybe, I don't know, maybe I was expecting too much, and that's why. But, I mean, I shouldn't with a movie called This Is Spinal Tap. Yeah, really, it was really funny. Some of the lines in this movie are ridiculous and super funny.
Yeah.
What's awesome about this is on IMDb, which is where I get a lot of my movie trivia and information from. This movie is rated out of an 11. And it's
funny.
the only movie on IMDb rated out of 11.
That's awesome.
Which, yeah, so yeah, I think that whole gag is really funny. Where it's just why not just turn the volume up on 10?
Why not make 10 louder?
Yeah.
Well, these go to 11.
Yeah, so good. So it's definitely classic. It's a very good comedy. It's a cult classic because this movie made zero money at the box office. Mm-hmm. And I mean, based on that trailer, I think it could have been marketed better for sure. But also, I feel like this movie is a prime example of a cult classic because of just literally what it is. And it kind of being misunderstood, and you have to see it to be oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because it's marketed as a documentary of a rock band. Mm-hmm. It's not marketed as a comedy mockumentary, So I'm sure that a lot of people were who is Spinal Tap? I don't care about them because I've never heard about them, so I'm not going to go see that. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Also, I feel like this movie was, this probably wasn't the first mockumentary, but it was definitely one of the earlier ones, I think. So that format, that I think every millennial and definitely everybody younger than us is well aware of because of The Office and Parks and Rec and even a little bit older than us with the Blair Witch Project and that kind of stuff, the the fake documentary is a very established kind of genre now.
Yeah.
Where it was not in the 80s, I don't think.
Yeah, this is
so,
definitely the most well known.
Yeah, I think it's a little probably off-putting for people then too, because it's like, I mean, like when I say they sell the movie as a documentary, like they really sell it as a documentary, you know. Like
and that's its whole bit, which is funny.
So like if you don't understand what the movie is, it could be really confusing.
Yeah, agreed. Here comes a cameo from Sadie. Yeah, so after the film opened, like multiple people told Rob Reiner they're like they loved the movie, but they were not familiar with the band, which is hilarious. Because I mean it's, and even like let's see, like a bunch of rock stars basically like watched this movie and were like depressed by it because of how accurate it was of their lives and like of just being a rock star. Some rock stars even thought it was kind of making fun of them, or like I think Steven Tyler of Aerosmith thought it was based on him. Yeah, it's really well done and like really funny and kind of gives you that inner life of a rock star. And I mean, these guys are not from England. They're not British.
No.
None of these actors. And their accents are fucking hilarious. And it's the shit they say, and like you can just tell they had a blast making this and writing this. So Harry Shearer, the guy with kind of the handlebar mustache. You got Rob Reiner, who's the director in the movie and the director of the movie. You got Christopher Guest, who's kind of the longer hair, darker hair, and then you've got Michael McKean, who's the blonde hair, who's like the lead singer. They were given $10,000 to write a script, and they made a 20-minute version of the film to better demonstrate like the improvisation that they were going to have. And like it makes total sense. It's just they wanted to improvise on a lot of it. They also wanted to come up with like super detailed backstories of everyone, like, and their characters. And they like, so like the reason they did that is because like they wanted to have like realistic answers for like kind of the talking heads portions where they're like, or like their interview portions. And it also makes it hilarious. And also I feel like Christopher Guest the whole time is like laughing his ass off.
Yeah.
He's like always kind of smiling and laughing. I love that. Just, it's like an SNL when the actors break. It just makes it funnier.
Yeah.
And I feel like he does that like a lot of the movie. Because the shit he says, honestly, I think he's got the best lines. Christopher Guest's character.
I mean, he's got the don't touch the guitar, don't even look at it.
Yeah.
Bit. He does the amp up to 11 bit.
Yep.
His playing piano bit, and then says the name of the song is "Lick My Love Pump."
I loved that scene.
So
it's like
funny.
it's a combination of Mozart and Bach. Mock.
Yeah.
So good. All the names are so made up, and that's what's also hilarious.
Yeah.
Like his name is Nigel Tufnell. Like, come on, like completely made up. Rob Reiner's character is Marty DeBurgi, which they literally combined Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, like all Brian De Palma, like all those names were combined into one, and that's how they came up with DeBurgi. Like David St. Hubbins, Mick Shrimpton.
Shrimpton is
Viv
the best.
Savage, like Derek Smalls, like Ian Faith. They're just ridiculous. I love Ed Beagley Jr.'s cameo in it as the drummer. The drummer bit is hilarious. How all their drummers die. Because a lot of drummers in bands die in real life. John Stumpy Peppies or whatever his name is. Like, oh, the Peepa. The Peepa.
Yeah.
And they say he died in an unsolved gardening accident.
Yeah. They say that's one of those where it's best left unsolved. Like, what?
So funny. Like that, I love that. I thought that was super funny. Yeah, they like one of their other drummers spontaneously combusts.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. You know, every now and then someone just spontaneously combusts. Like that shit was funny.
The other one choked on vomit, and it was never confirmed whose vomit it was.
Yeah, like again, you can tell that shit's just improvised. It's just like off the cuff. There are 2 cameos in this. I don't know if you noticed. I noticed one, and then I didn't realize who the first. It's the who the first one was. It's the mime waiters at like their
Billy Crystal.
Yeah, the other one was
them.
The other one was Dana Carvey.
Oh, was it? Oh, I missed him.
Same. I think he's the first one who's like, "Oh, you got to eat."
Oh,
yeah, Billy Crystal's the other one, and obviously Billy Crystal and Rob Reiner, and you've got Bruno Kirby, who's like the limo driver in this.
Mm-hmm.
They're in When Harry Met Sally together. Yeah, you got. I think the like running gag of their outfits are ridiculous. They're tight pants that has their like dick bulge in it. Yeah, they're pink torpedo, like the pink torpedo. The like they're talking about like bums and stuff. Like the shots of all their asses when they're rocking is hilarious. Big Bottom talk about mud flaps. My girl's got them. Like some of the lyrics are just so fucking funny.
Yeah, I mean, like there's like the songs are actually all pretty like well written and catchy.
Yeah,
but like the lyrics are just so crazy.
Yeah, and what's awesome is they wrote those. So Harry Shearer, Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, they all wrote those, and actually, so they are actually like trained. I put that in air quotes. Trained, like they're competent musicians.
Yeah,
like they know how to play. They're actually playing in the movie, which is awesome.
Yeah, so cool.
And just adds to that mockumentary documentary feel. Yeah, it's pretty like that in and of itself is impressive.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you can tell, like the music scenes are. I'm fairly certain not like lip singing. I think they were actually playing and.
It is lip singing.
Is it? Well, it's really good if it is because they're like dead on. So,
but they pre-recorded their stuff.
Yeah, right.
So like
they are actually performing all the songs. But yeah, like the lip syncing is like fucking perfect then because it's really hard to tell.
Yeah, they did a great job. Rob Reiner was actually originally going to be one of the band members, but Harry Shearer said, "You don't look good in spandex, so don't." So he didn't. He's like, "All right." So, yeah, armadillos in our trousers, dude. Spandex, so funny. Yeah. So, in that, there's that scene where they are like discussing the album cover with the like "Smell My Glove," which is super funny, and so interesting.
All of their album names are fantastic too.
Yeah. In that scene, they all have like herpes on their face.
Yeah,
they have like
at the party.
Blisters.
Yeah,
yeah, and it's never explained.
No, it's just that one scene.
Yeah, and so there was a deleted scene where it involved an all-female opening act from all the members, like all Spinal Tap basically like slept with all the female members, and that's how they got it. So yeah, it was interesting because I remember being like, "Is that food on their face?" And then it goes to like a close-up, and I was like, "Oh." was like, that's a blister.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was like a dumb little gag that they like thought would be funny to put in.
Yeah. I like the gag with the small bread. Like where he's just like, do I fold the bread? It's like, see, if I fold the bread, then it crumble. Like that whole bit was like really, really funny. Apparently that's like kind of a knock on like musicians and famous people being picky about their stuff.
Yeah, they're like, what do you call it? Like the contract writers, like for like their green room and stuff. Or like,
yes,
I know like Morrissey from the Smiths is like particularly infamous about being a huge piece of shit about his like green room setups. He's like I guess you'd call him like a militant vegetarian. So like if there's a whiff of meat anywhere in his green room, he'll refuse to perform and like he'll just leave the venue. And like if things aren't particular exactly how he wants them, he'll just fucking leave. So like he's pretty regularly like cancels shows just because he like doesn't feel like doing it. So like,
damn.
Yeah, I mean he's not the only one that's that way. There's a lot of kind of diva
I read that too,
musicians out there.
Like
so
some people are like, I read something and I forget exactly who it was, but they're like, you know, they're so picky that they don't want any of the brown M&Ms in all their M&Ms, so they have to pick them out by hand.
Yeah,
and like,
I can't remember who that is, but yeah, there is somebody that does that.
It was in the trivia too, and I didn't mark it down who it was. But
then on the other extreme, you have Motorhead. Lemmy Kilmister is the singer. He passed away a few years ago. Like their most famous song is probably Ace of Spades, if anyone's wondering. But their like only contract writer was that they needed 2 handles of Jack Daniels, 2 handles of Jim Beam, and 2 handles of some sort of premium vodka just for Lemmy before every show.
Jesus. That's signs of alcoholism.
Yeah, there's a legend that shortly before he died, like a couple years before he died, he had gone to his doctor and they like pulled like blood work and stuff, and his doctor was like, look, if you stop doing meth and drinking, you'll die, so you have to keep doing it.
Holy shit.
So your blood is so polluted that you'll just die if you go cold turkey on the drugs and alcohol. So.
Jesus. I would never expect a doctor to say that, but that's hilarious.
That's a legend. So I don't know if it's true, but
fair enough. Just the songs, like the Hellhole is one of the songs I really liked, and like it's just like literally shots of their just like low angle shots of their just junk in their fucking trousers. Like that shit's hilarious. They're like other older bands, or like when they had like a different, like all the names they go through are really funny. Like I think they were called like the Flower People and like stuff like that, and it shows in the 60s where they almost look like the Beatles, and that's really funny and cool.
The progression that they go through is pretty funny and like pretty spot on for like the bands that started in like the late 60s and like kind of peaked in like like the mid 70s, then were like fading out in like by 1984 is like pretty spot on. So yeah, I could imagine that some groups that were watching this movie were probably like, oh my god, this is like us entirely. Like Aerosmith is definitely a big one that comes to mind, because they fell off the face of the earth in like the late 70s, like big time, and really didn't come back until they did the Walk This Way with Run DMC in like
when did Don't Want to Miss a Thing
80s?
come out?
think that was the late 80s. But that like revitalized
98.
their career.
Yeah.
Like that really made them famous again. Kind of saved their asses a little bit.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like for all, the drug-related rock stars out there, like they didn't really do any drugs in this. I feel like.
Yeah, no. Like
there's not a lot of drug use.
Yeah, like I think there's a couple references, but like no one's ever actually like doing drugs.
There's one scene, but it's not the rock stars, and someone takes like a bump of cocaine.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, pretty interesting. I wonder why they chose to keep that out.
Yeah.
I feel like that could have bred good comedy. Yeah, I like the Smell My Glove like album art. It's like all black. It's like there's not even like a track list on here.
Yeah.
How are people going to know what it is? Which is actually kind of interesting and kind of genius, but also fucking stupid at the same time.
Yeah, I mean that's like I like Fran
Drescher.
Yeah, her character says like the White Album was all white. Like why can't you just do something like that? And so they make it all black. But like at least with the White Album there's like it says the Beatles on it.
Yeah.
Their album literally doesn't say anything anywhere.
Yeah, I like that. I thought that was really funny. I like the whole Stonehenge where like
Stonehenge is my favorite part of the movie. It's
really
so funny. His whole like monologue about the Druids just like floors me. It's so funny when he's like, nobody knows who they were or what they were doing. It's like the best. So funny.
And then they have because they have the dwarves come out and they almost crush it, and he's like gets pissed.
The mandolin music. It's so awesome.
Yeah, it's a pretty funny movie. Now, like I tried looking up, and it looks like were there sequels to it? I mean, I couldn't really tell.
So I know they actually released an album as Spinal Tap.
Really?
Shortly after. Because there was a pretty like dedicated fan base, even though it was like not commercially successful. So I think kind of like for shits and giggles, they like released the album.
Because like on IMDb,
I think there's been a lot of like talks about sequels.
Yeah.
But I think there's actually a real sequel coming out either this year or next year.
Huh. Because it says there's like the 40th anniversary. There's like Spinal Tap 2. But I don't think it's real. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think anything's actually been released.
Yeah. I don't know if we need a sequel necessarily.
I think it would be funny to do a Legacy sequel.
Yeah.
With them as like 70
Legacy mockumentary sequel.
Yeah. Like following up after, all this time. Because like a lot of the bands that were, in their like 40s or late 30s, early 40s in 1984, like the Rolling Stones and like those guys, are kind of, who they're poking fun at a little bit. And like seeing the kind of like shit those guys get up to in their like 70s and 80s is probably pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like Mick Jagger's like wild. And he's like 85 or something.
Yeah, ridiculous.
And, like, I think he runs like 10 miles a day. And like he's been like stone sober for like 20 plus years or something. He's like a fucking machine. Like,
yeah, he looks good for 80s.
Me and my wife
he just
saw
presented
them.
at the Oscars.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I didn't watch. I
think
care.
he did.
But I mean, if you see him perform, he's like, you would have no idea he was over 80. Like
Yeah,
it's
that's crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, I liked it. It's not one of my favorite comedies, but I definitely enjoyed it. I liked Airplane better.
Yeah,
I like
it's
Airplane
worth
better.
watching. It's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm excited for the next movie, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, because I don't remember the last time I've seen that. I think I watched that in school. Did we watch?
Yeah.
Were
In
you
in our history class, we watched it.
Yeah. Okay, I thought so.
I think that
Yeah.
might be the last time I watched it too. So
I think that's the only time I ever watched it, which that was a long time ago, and I don't remember half of it.
yeah,
Or like 3/4 of it, maybe even more. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to watch that, and then Pee-wee's Big Adventure I'm very excited for, because again I
Yeah.
have a good story. Hopefully it lives up to the hype, but a good personal story on that movie. Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad we watched this movie. Hopefully you turn it up to 11 and watch it. And yeah, got anything else you want to add, Jake?
no, yeah,
Yep.
I'm glad we watched it again. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, I knew these comedy episodes would be a little shorter.
There's never anything like particularly interesting, like trivia wise, for comedies
know.
for some reason. So yeah,
Yep. So it is what it is, which is funny, especially considering our last month was like, I mean, we did 2 movies, granted, so they were like hour-long episodes, and now we've got 25 minutes, and I'm trying to stretch the time here a little bit just by mentioning this. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy these. I know they're quick, but that's comedy. This movie was quick as well, hour and 22 minutes, like very quick watch. So we'll make it a quick listen. So thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yep. See you.
Take care.